AITA, for telling my stepfather he will not be a part of my future? Plus 1 year update. Original post April 2, 2025. My stepfather, M51, and I, F19, have not had a necessarily good relationship even before he married my mother. We tolerate each other considering we have one thing in common, my mother/his wife being an important part of our lives. I have lived with my mother, stepfather and siblings since I was 16. He has very specific rules of living in his house, which I follow. I also pay rent now because that just makes sense since I'm an adult. These rules since I was 16 have gotten really strict over the years to the point he argues with me over the littlest mistakes I do. That is fine, but these days he tries to find anything to argue with me about, not just rules. He starts the arguments when he knows I'm the only one in the house, or if my mother is not around. I tend to just stay in my room, cook food when he's not home, or just stay out studying or at a friend's house to avoid conflict. His native language and mine are not the same. The language here is my second one, so I don't like arguing since I can't express myself well. The arguments have been happening more frequently to the point he does it in front of my mother too. I can tell she is uncomfortable seeing it, but doesn't add to the situation because she doesn't want to pick sides. He uses the language against me while arguing, telling me not to speak my native language in the house either, whether to my mother when I don't know a word in the language spoken here or when I'm calling my dad, since he only speaks our native language. This, coupled with other things happening, has put me on edge. I work and study. Last week I was getting ready for work, a late shift, and only my stepfather was home. I was putting my things in my bag, and he came over to start an argument over catching my mother and I having talked in my native language the day before. He argued that we should not speak in a language he doesn't know because we could be talking bad about him. We weren't talking about him but about how I wanted to change workplaces, same company, different town, but he didn't believe me. We even switched languages to his when he came into the living room when it happened. The argument got heated and words were thrown around on both sides. He said something very left field that he knew I didn't like discussing. A traumatic time when I was 15. I was so angry I said he now had no place in my future. My future wedding he wouldn't attend but my mother could. My future children he wouldn't be a grandfather to, but my mother would be a grandma. He told my mother, who for the last week has been tiptoeing around it. I feel bad for her as she is caught in the middle of this and apologized to her. And I know I've been way too harsh on my stepfather, but I don't want my future to be filled with more argument, especially not on special things like a possible wedding or kids. I will be moving out soon since that's been my plan the last few months. I finally found an affordable apartment and maybe that will relieve some tension. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. NTA, but you need to learn to gray rock. Just because your stepfather is trying to start an argument, doesn't mean that you need to respond. Oop. Generally I try to leave arguments, but we have an open door rule, so if I leave to my room he will come in to further it. Instead I usually just leave the house if the arguments gets heated, but before I move out I'll try the gray rock method. Downvoted commenter. NTA. We obviously only have the story from your side, but going from that, he seems to have some resentments that he's not dealing with very well. Moving out is certainly the best option at this time. With that said, I would probably strongly encourage that you, your mother and he are all probably desperately in need of some level of counseling. Rather than cut him out completely immediately, I would give him the chance to remain a part of your life if he agrees to go to a family therapist to work out just what's causing him to be so angry with you and how he can work past that. I say this mostly because he will obviously continue to be a part of your mom's life and asking her to attend events alone would be difficult on her and cause a certain level of embarrassment. However, if you do intend to just outright cut him out, then you need to be firm with that decision. That means no turning to him for help when your chips are down. You can't expect him to be your stepfather when it's convenient for you but then slink back off to the shadows after. It also means that you need to expect a lot of pushback from your mother, along with fights from other family members who will think you owe him something. Best of luck. Oop. I would suggest therapy, but my stepfather doesn't believe in therapy, or at least that's what I know from a conversation he did before about the topic of therapy. I haven't asked for help so far from my stepfather, and since I turned 18 I've been paying rent including the electricity, heating, etc., which is reasonable since I work and am an adult. And also my groceries. I found an affordable apartment that is in my renting range, and I've been saving up in case I suddenly need to pay for emergencies or situations. Commenter 2.